webinar that I have queued up for you today is the 7 most common mistakes made on the way to health and happiness. The 7 most common mistakes on the way to health and happiness. And I have my happy shirt on today. So feeling happy, feeling good. And I'm just getting started a little bit early. I'm going to run some videos for you so you can go ahead and settle in while I do that. And then we'll get started in about 10 minutes or so. I'm excited. All right, so let me do this. Let me share my screen. And I'm going to start with this. All right, here we go. Okay, everyone. All right, so I'm here with Gizmo, and he's excited for the webinar also. We wanted to say hello. And we still have a few minutes left, so I'm going to run one more video for you. I know there's people joining me. Thank you. Welcome again, Marcy Peters, and you're here for the 7 common mistakes made on the way to health and happiness, Marcy and Gizmo. So let me run one more video for you. We're going to get started in about 6 or 7 minutes here. So I'll see you again shortly. And let me just pull that up. Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. It's Marcy Peters, America's Whole Life Coach, and I am so excited for you to meet one of my clients today. I want you to meet the lovely Anharad. She's in London, and she has agreed to share her story. So welcome, and why don't you tell us where you've been and what has changed for you in the last 6 months?
Okay, I have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, and I've had it for about 18 years. And I was in quite incredible shape when I got it. So fitness was certainly not an aspect of the reason I was ill. And then I tried over the years just about everything, with the exception of maybe seeing a homeopath. And then I started working with Marcy 6 months ago. And after the first month, I think, first of all, I had over the month extreme headaches and migraines. And then at the end of a month of working with her, I was about 50% better, which was just phenomenal. Nothing I had done up to that point was that sudden and that extreme. And then, of course, I know that it was what she did with me, because every once in a while I test it. And, you know, can I really go back to eating this? Can I really go to bed later? Can I do this or that? And then I'm worse. So it's really clear that her guidance had made me 50% better. So that was like 50% less muscle pain and joint pain and less muscle fatigue. I also stopped having IBS attacks. They just disappeared. I stopped having migraines and headaches. They were gone. And just before I began to see you, I was thinking I needed to get treatment for anxiety, that the anxiety I was experiencing was getting in the way of things and I needed treatment. And that is pretty well disappeared too. It's just gone. And then another thing that was just incredible, and this is one of the things that I found very hard to believe, but just the extent of how much happier I became in life, with myself, with living in London, with people around me. And I, you know, on a daily basis, I became so happy that I would sometimes feel like I would just explode. I was so happy, which was just incredible. Sleeping better. I started to sleep way better. I started to be able to walk 45 minutes a day to and from the bus stop instead of taking the bus. That was an extreme for me, because that would always bring on either an IBS attack or a chronic fatigue fibromyalgia attack. I started having those attacks as well, that I realized at a certain point were hypoglycemic. So working with Marcy, she taught me and guided me how to balance my blood sugar. And so those attacks stopped. And I soon had, being able to go like the whole, 4 or 5 hours in between meals, instead of having to eat something every 2 hours, or having to have food with me all the time, or know where I could get food in case I had an attack. My brain's become a lot clearer. I've been able to absorb and learn things that I haven't for years. It's just like kind of a weight or a heaviness is lifted off of my brain. And it's also been good to answer to somebody. I always thought I was the type of person that was disciplined enough that I didn't have to answer to anybody. But seeing Marcy weekly, it made me commit more to doing it, and doing exercises and feeling, more that I had to do these things for myself because I had to answer to you. And also it was really good to have someone to talk to. Being an A-type personality, I found it very hard to discuss being ill and how much I wanted to get well and move out of this. Even with my boyfriend, I found that very difficult to talk about. And so because you've been through it, it made it so much easier to talk to.
Yeah, You know, I've really seen you transform. It's been amazing. And to me, transformation is not about changing into something you're not. It's really about bringing all of your beautiful, amazing qualities up to the surface and really getting in touch with your true, magnificent self. And I have seen you do that, my dear. You are so glowing and so full of light and happiness and joy now. And I know you were in a really rough place when we met, and it's been amazing to see this transformation. I know you have more energy, you've lost weight, you are happier, you can do more, but you're also learning to listen to your body and back off when you need to and not try to overdo it and do everything. So a lot of the exercises we've done along the way, I can see have really helped and strengthen your love for yourself and your respect for yourself, and you're in a Okay, everyone, I'm back. I just wanted to share that with you. That is one of my absolutely amazing clients, and I will say that all of my clients are amazing. I'm very blessed with wonderful people that come to me for guidance and support. So, it's 10:30, so we're gonna get started. I know there's a bunch of you on the line and joining, and thank you so much for being here. You know, I really want you to give yourself a big pat on the back for, you know, taking this time for yourself and taking this opportunity to improve your health in your life. And this is a participation event, so I just ask that you use your worksheet. You should have that at this point, hopefully out in front of you. So use your worksheet to take notes, because that's going to give you a takeaway, an easy takeaway for afterwards, something that is meaningful to you. And then post your name, location, and your biggest challenge into the chat box. So let this be something where there's an interaction and participation, and you're not just a viewer, because you're important to me and I want to hear about you. And then the other thing is I want you to check in with yourself. You know, there's a reason why you joined my community in the first place. There's a reason why you found me, and there's a reason why you're here today. And perhaps you just want the information and you just want to better your life, and that's very valid. But I think for a lot of people, usually they don't reach out, and this is what I've seen, is that you don't really try to make changes or reach out unless something's not working. So in other words, if your health is amazing and you're really happy and you're enjoying your life and you're having great relationships, then things are good and nothing needs to change, and you have no motivation or catalyst for change either, which is totally fine. Gizmo is getting off my lap there. Okay, so I want you to just check in with yourself. This is a moment of self-honesty and contemplation. And actually, I want to do a centering exercise with all of you. If you're in a place where you can close your eyes, then I'm going to have you do that. If not, then you can just listen and do the imagination that we're going to be doing. So close your eyes. Let's join our energies by taking a nice deep inhale together. And then exhale, release. Again, as you inhale, let the air move down into your lower body, down through your hips. And then exhale, release. One nice deep breath all together, inhaling. And then soften, exhale. Just letting everything go. So in this state, and hopefully you're feeling a little more centered and relaxed than you were a moment ago, I want you to connect with why you're here, what's not working, what you would like to change, what your frustrations are. And perhaps you're upset, perhaps you're disappointed, perhaps you're frustrated, perhaps you're at your wit's end. And you might even be mad. You might even be really upset about where you're at and what's not working. So just connect to your reasons why we've taken this time today. And then I want you to imagine that you have plenty of energy, you feel confident in your body, you feel strong, you feel a sense of freedom, a sense of limitlessness, a sense of possibility. And just feel that in your body as you breathe, with eyes closed if you're able to right now. Just letting the air, the life force move through your body with every inhale and exhale. And imagine yourself now, picture yourself or feel it in your body, what it's like to be happy, healthy, strong, confident, free, capable. And just sit with that possibility for a moment. And then I want you to ask yourself, what is stopping you? What is stopping you from being happy, healthy, confident, strong, free, passionate, connecting to your life purpose, having the love and the relationships that you want? What's stopping you? And take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. And then go ahead and open your eyes. Thank you for joining me in that centering exercise. And just notice what came up for you. You can use your worksheet to take notes. I'm going to do another little exercise again later so you can check back in with yourself. And that will be another opportunity to really find out what your inner wisdom is saying. Your inner wisdom has so much to share. Thank you again for everyone who's here. I see that more and more people are joining us. And once again, this is an interactive webinar. I want you to be able to participate and not just be a bystander. So go ahead and enter at least your name into chat, introduce yourself. You can also say where you're from and your biggest challenge as well, so that we can all be in this together. We are all in this together. No one has it completely figured out. We are all on the path. We are all on the journey. And even though my job as facilitator is to guide and inspire, that doesn't mean that I'm not still on the path too, of course. So let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to share my screen. I have a presentation for you. And we will get started with the information that you came here to get. All right, so here is our presentation. Obviously, you're here for the 7 most common mistakes on the way to health and happiness. A little bit about me. I've been called America's whole life coach, and it's something that has stuck. And the reason why is because when I first started years ago, I was really helping people with health primarily, with better eating choices, weight loss, more energy, overcoming chronic illness, a lot of the things that I dealt with before I decided, you know, this is my life calling, and went back to school and got my credentials and certifications and so forth. And what was happening was my clients weren't just losing weight and having more energy and overcoming and reversing chronic illness. They were actually having improvements and benefits in part of their lives. And so what I was noticing is they were tapping into their life purpose, doing things that they loved, having better relationships, better boundaries. People were treating them better, and that those relationships were changing. They were able to do more and get out more and have more activities and more fun in their life because they were feeling better physically. And it was having a ripple effect too on those around them. So their family and friends were also saying, hey, how did you do this? What's up? What's going on with you? And starting to make their own changes. And they were becoming leaders and role models in their communities and in their families. So that's when things change, and it's like I'm not just a health coach. I'm a whole life coach, every aspect. And of course, I've had my own health struggles. I was sick for 16 years myself. So that experience really brought a lot of humility and a lot of insight and compassion and empathy. And because of that, I'm also very, very passionate about helping as many people as I can. And I can't work with everyone one-on-one, but my goal is really to provide inspiration and hope that no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are, you can have the life you want. And I really believe that. I also am the host of Transform Your Health World Summit, and that will be happening again in October. I'm very, very excited. I've been working on that actually since January of this year. It's a big endeavor. And I'm the creator of H2 nutrition products. So bars, shakes, and supplements, really delicious whole food nutrition. So I've done a lot of presentations on what to eat, what not to eat, nutrition, all the different components of health, and those things are very important, don't get me wrong. But I also, I really like to go deeper. I like to go underneath the behavior so that it really has a chance to impact you and affect you, not just on the surface level, not just on a behavioral level, but on an actual psychological level. So this presentation is not about nutrition today. I definitely have those presentations out there. There's one on my website called The 7 Simple Steps to Wellness, and that's a paid presentation, but it really goes into depth. And so that's a great one to start watching as a foundation. I love this image that showed the zebras and the one that's different. So just maybe open your mind and your heart today, and whatever comes up for you is something that could benefit you in some way. So I was rock climbing. I like to rock climb. I started year before last, and I like to do things that push my boundaries because that's where we grow. If we stay in the same comfort zone, then we don't have the opportunity to grow, because actually what we want is actually outside of that familiar territory. So it does require stepping out of it and taking some risks, and it's really fun for me too. So I was rock climbing. You can see on the left where I'm climbing up, and then as I was coming down, and you're all roped in, and as you come down, you just walk down the mountain, and you're held by the rope. And I decided to do a back bend, and that was really fun and really freeing. So I love rock climbing because it's fun, but even more importantly, it's very psychological. So you're climbing, and there's always a place, at least for me, there's always a place where I feel like I'm stuck and I can't go any farther. And there's no place to go. There's no handholds, there's no footholds. And usually at that point, I want to come down. And I don't necessarily want to give up, but it just seems like there's no other choice. And this is a metaphor for life, right? So if we let ourselves go to the place where there's nothing else we can do, we're stuck and we have to give up or regress, then that's one approach. And what I've found is there's always a guide at the bottom. There's always someone who's belaying you, which makes the whole rope and safety system very, very safe. And otherwise I wouldn't do it if it was going to be completely unsafe. Of course, there's always a risk too. The equipment could malfunction or you could make a misstep. So my guide below can see things that I can't see when I'm very close to the situation. And so I'm just going to come back to myself for a minute. So so what happens is I'm climbing and I get stuck, and I say, you know, there's nowhere to go, and I call down to him or her, and they say, no, you know, there's actually, you know, put your right foot up and step into it, and then there'll be a handhold. And so they're guiding me and directing me from the bottom because they can see things that I can't see when I'm right up on the rock. And that's a great way to look at help and guidance, is you're still doing it yourself, but you have this team, the support team, or this mentor, this guide who is saying, you know, you can do it, I believe in you, stop and take a breath, and then reach for that handhold. And they've done it enough times that they actually know where the handholds are. They know the places where people usually get stuck because it happens over and over again, and they've seen it. So that's how I feel. I've guided a lot of people, and it's been my complete honor and to do that. And so that was one thing I wanted to share with you from the weekend. I'm going to go back to the slides now. Okay. So I called this 7 Common Mistakes, and I just want to say something about mistakes. Mistakes can be looked at as kind of a nasty word, almost along the lines of failure. Failure is even worse. But actually, I look at mistakes and failures as opportunities. So I love this graphic. Mistakes are the beginning of discovery, and it is absolutely true. So I called it mistakes, but it could be, you know, 7 common possibilities or ways to discover, you know, what you could be doing or changing. So let's get started. Let's jump right in. I want to make sure and get you this content in a reasonable time frame, and so that you can get back to your day and also get a lot of value. My intention is always to provide value to my community. So we're going to start at the 7th most important. We're going to go to the top most important one, which is number 1. So make sure you stay till the end, and at the very end I'm going to recap everything, and go ahead and use your worksheets to take notes. So the 7th most common mistake is not being a scientist, or not recognizing how what you're eating is affecting your body. So this is really important, because if you can't figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you, it's going to be hard to know what to eat and have that direction. And our body actually gives us a lot of signals and a lot of communication, and it does it in the form of pain or something that's not working, lack of energy, all of these things, skin stuff, you know, that's a big one. If we have stuff manifesting on the outside, it's coming from the inside. It's not usually a topical problem. So that's the first thing. And I included this because I've heard it a lot from other people, and I think the awareness is growing, which is great. Just in the last couple years, even in the last 5 years, people are starting to recognize that if you're not putting good fuel in the car, high quality gas in the car won't run as well. And that seems like common sense. But when I was sick for a long, long time, I didn't want to believe that the foods that I liked, the foods that were easy and convenient and tasted good, were not the foods that I should be eating, and they were actually the very foods that I should be avoiding. Ironically, we are often drawn towards the foods that cause problems for us. And it is just kind of a strange irony that what you love most can often be things that aren't serving you. So really checking in with yourself and paying attention. A food journal is a great way to start to create that clarity for yourself, so you recognize that cause and effect. You know, I eat one thing, and then digestively I don't feel well, I don't sleep well, or my skin breaks out, or cognitively I can't think, focus, concentrate, or remember as well. There's a variety of ways that this manifests, and a lot of them are really, really subtle. So you have your IgE reaction, which is like your throat swells up. It's an emergency situation. That's how you can remember when you get food allergy testing or different things like that. If you get a prick test and it reacts right away, that's an IgE reaction. And then you have your IgG reactions, and this is all lab work that I'm talking about. But those are ones that don't show up as an immediate reaction. They can take hours and days to manifest. So it can be hard to make that correlation. So starting to figure out for you what doesn't work. Now there's a list of common inflammatory foods, and you'll find that in my 7 simple steps to wellness. We don't have, that's not part of today's presentation, but that's a good starting place, is to take those out and see how your body does without them. But really it could be anything. I have a friend who, when he eats chocolate, he breaks out on his nose, and that started happening in high school, and he thought it was just puberty and hormones, and actually he's allergic to chocolate. And my mom, if she eats chocolate, she gets an upset stomach. So there's a variety of things that you can start to correlate, and again, many of them are very subtle. Okay, so go ahead and write that down on your worksheet. Enter any questions into chat. This is, like I said, interactive, so it's an opportunity for you to spend time with me and have me answer your questions too. Even if they're off topic, but preferably something based on what we're talking about here. So let's go back to the slides. So that's the first one I'm going to talk about, which is number 7 on the list. Not being a scientist, not recognizing the correlation between what you eat and how you feel and how important that is. The next most common mistake I see, and have also been guilty of this, and all of these I've pretty much lived myself, and that is the wrong amount of exercising. That is over or under exercising. It could be either. Not exercising enough, over exercising, are both things that can stress out your body. So the body is meant to move. The body is meant to have activity. If you think about our cave people ancestors, they weren't staying in one place for very long. They weren't laying around or sitting at a desk or watching TV or whatever, sleeping for the whole day. They're out and about. So they're sleeping all night, getting that nice, good foundational sleep, and then they're moving, they're doing things. At the same time, they're not necessarily running marathons, 26 miles at a stretch, or doing triathlons either. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but too much activity, too much exercise can actually be stressful on the body. And actually, they're finding that marathon runners are developing tears in their heart because they are over-exercising. And it's just like any muscle. If you stress it too much, it's going to break down and start to have problems. So there's a balance, and that balance is going to be different for everyone. If you're someone who is already really fit and active, then you'll probably need more than the average person to actually feel good and feel like you got hot, sweaty, and a little painful, is what I like to say for a workout. That's a great barometer. Hot, sweaty, and a little painful, at least once a day, even if it's for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, because they're finding that intermittent exercise is great. So trying to find the balance between stressing your body, which exercise does stress the body in a good way, but also the counterbalance to that is relaxation, is actually being able to settle into your awareness, your consciousness, your body, reconnect with your body. And that's what meditation is great for, getting plenty of sleep, just being present and aware and cultivating that presence type of mentality. Those are all things that will put you into the relaxation response to counterbalance the stress response of exercise, of running all day and doing all the things that we do, of work and all of our responsibilities. So finding ways to balance that out. So having the right amount of exercise or activity in general, and looking at your overall stress load and making sure that you balance that with the relaxation. Okay, so great. Let me go back to the slides once again. Good, so that's number 6. The 5th most common mistake, and I see this a lot too, and if you fall into this category, and we all do to a certain extent, I do too sometimes, you know, definitely don't be hard on yourself. Just recognize, just be the observer, just recognize what's going on and decide how you would like to change. So lack of worthiness or self-love manifests when someone doesn't feel worthy or doesn't love themselves, then it actually manifests as not taking good care of yourself, not supporting yourself, or not taking care of yourself in a way that really truly supports your goals and your dreams and your well-being and your physical stamina, and ultimately empowers yourself. So that's really important, because all of our behaviors and the way we're interacting with the world come from this place of this relationship with yourself. I call it the primary relationship. And so your solutions are appropriate self-care. In other words, not the type of self-care that rewards yourself with an ice cream cone every time, because that won't really ultimately benefit you. The kind of self-care that really makes you feel comforted and loved and respected. The kind of self-care that the way you would treat your best friend, the way that you would treat your beloved son or daughter or your pet. And then the second thing is boundaries, having boundaries with yourself and with other people too. So when you make a commitment, keeping that commitment, that's part of boundaries, that's part of respect. And not overcommitting, training other people on how you expect to be treated from a loving place. You can definitely make known what's appropriate for you and what's not. And then, and this is really important, and I talk about this a lot, making changes from that place of loving yourself into the change rather than forcing yourself into it. So often people come to me and they say, I want to lose weight. I'm overweight. I don't like my body. This is not working. This is not who I want to be. And so there can be a lot of judgment and criticism, and even self-loathing. And so if you can start to accept yourself and love yourself where you are right now, and then from that place of love and acceptance, start to make the behaviors and start to make the changes that will get you where you want to go. That's why I believe that diets don't work, because it's coming from a place of scarcity, not abundance. Abundance is, there's not only limitless possibility and limitless everything, including love in my life, but I am love. I represent love. My true self is love. And so there's plenty of abundance. It's endless. And so if you can come from that place, then making those changes just flows and makes a lot more sense and is easier. So that goes with knowing you are worthy, accepting that you are worthy, and if needed, working through some of those issues so that actually you can come to that place. And that might be talking about, reasons why you believe you're not worthy, things that happened in the past that you're interpreting as you not being worthy, and actually sorting through that. And that's a great place to have a counselor or a mentor or a coach. And then making the behaviors that show yourself that you love yourself, you respect yourself, and you're worthy. Just like in any relationship, it's one thing if you tell someone, I love you, but you're not acting congruently with that message. So telling yourself that, and the other part of that is acting in congruence to someone who does love and respect themselves. Okay, let's go back to the slides. So that's number 5. And number 4 is perfectionism. Perfectionism stands in the way so much with things that we're trained to do for ourselves and for our lives, because there's a common misperception that the best way to get someone to change or get yourself to change is to bring to their attention everything they're doing wrong or incorrectly so that they can adjust. And it actually doesn't work like that. Psychologically, you actually are creating more resistance and more possible rebellion inside if you are berating yourself, if you're hard on yourself, just like with a child. If you look at most kids, if you are criticizing them and berating them and using shame and judgment and all of these icky emotions to change them, they might change for a short period of time. They might rebel right off the bat, or they might change for a short period of time and then at some point rebel or resist or feel really badly about themselves, you know, kind of an under the surface thing that you don't really realize is going on. And that happens to yourself too. So again, if you think of yourself as someone you really love and someone that you want to actually encourage into making the changes, then that works a lot better than forcing yourself or berating yourself or being hard on yourself as a way to make the changes. And so with perfectionism, one really freeing thing that I love is to recognize that there is no such thing as perfect. So we have this illusion in our mind that here's perfect over here and this is what I want to be, but ultimately there is no perfect. It's an illusion. It's like you know, the mirage in the desert. Someone that's really thirsty thinks they see water, and it's just a mirage. There is no such thing. So if you can take that pressure off yourself, it just feels so good and so freeing to recognize that you are beautiful, magnificent, amazing you, and you are already perfect, whole, and complete in your own way, and you're perfectly you. And you don't have to become this imaginary illusion. As women especially, we have the idea that we need to be this superpowered, supercharged career woman and mother and lover and family person and helping in the community and fit and beautiful and youthful. And that's just a lot of pressure. And what's actually better is if you can just be you, your best self, whatever that is. And that's something that people will resonate with the most. I actually had an idea for a long time that I needed to be perfect in order to be liked. I grew up getting accolades for achievements and accomplishments, and I thought, oh, well, if I can just keep doing that, or if I can look a certain way or be a certain way, then I'll be liked, I'll be loved, I'll be accepted. And that's not actually what brings those things. What brings those things to you is being in alignment and in authenticity. So being your true self and being aligned with your values so that you're not going against yourself and what's really important to you. So just playing with the concept and the idea that there is no perfect, and you are imperfectly perfect and perfectly imperfect already. You are whole and complete already. And instead of looking for that outside, starting to look for that inside. You know, a lot of the clients who come to me, and I would say pretty much all of them, are struggling with some form of perfectionism, because I think most people are to some level, and it just depends on how much they're being hard on themselves. And that's definitely something that can be worked through, looking at beliefs, figuring out where those come from, and starting to reinforce the fact that you don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be a certain way to accept and love yourself. It's kind of the myth of I'll be happy when I get the guy or lose weight or get the job or make a certain amount of money. All you're doing is delaying your happiness and your love and acceptance. Why not choose to be happy now, accept yourself now, love yourself now, And then it's actually more likely that you will have the success, the love, the body, all of those things that you're looking for. So also another concept is events are neutral. So it's really easy to say, well, you know, I didn't do a good job at that, you know, or that was a bad thing that happened, and starting to look at it as a neutral event rather than something that you're judging. So that was, let me go back to the slides. That was number 4. Okay, excellent. So moving right along, I'm going to take a little intermission, and I just want to have you post any ahas in chat. Also, take a moment and write down notes for yourself so that later on, when it's not fresh, you'll have it. So put it down right now when it's fresh. Post what's coming up for you. And then stay tuned all the way to the end, because I have a special opportunity for you later, and I'm also going to recap all of the 7 steps all together to make it nice and easy for you. Okay. All right, so how is everyone doing? What is coming up for you now? I want to hear from you. Go ahead and post in the chat, and then I will continue. So moving along, the 3rd most common mistake is not having a comprehensive plan. Just trying to take a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and trying to put it all together. I see this so often in the people who come to me, and they're not sure what to do, how to put it all together. They've probably attended a lot of workshops or summits or online events and maybe talked to a few people, but they just can't quite seem to pull it all together. And no wonder, you know, it's really hard. There's a lot of conflicting information out there, and it can be really daunting. And so the idea is to get a good, solid plan that really creates a foundation of health and happiness. And having that awareness to start listening to your body, having that person who can see the big picture, help you see the big picture. Like when I'm rock climbing and I'm too close and I can't see that there actually is a handhold or a foothold right there for me, until my guide at the bottom says, you know, you got it, just reach up to the right. So having consistency, working the plan and staying on it. You know, that's one of the biggest things I also see is people will do something for a little while and start to get results, and then it won't stick. They will go back to, they'll revert back to their old behaviors, and in the process usually have less energy, less health, gain the weight back, whatever it is. And so they've taken 2 steps forward and they actually take 3 steps back. So consistency is hugely important, and something that really makes a big difference, along with having the comprehensive plan, that strategy, knowing what to do. Number 2 most common mistake is looking for a magic pill. Looking for a magic pill. So I definitely can relate to this. This is something that when I was sick, I more than anything wanted a doctor to say, you know what, take these pills, you'll be fine, your pain will go away, the horrible achiness that feels like your body is rotting from the inside out will go away, that relentless fatigue and pain and digestive issues and joint pain and headaches and migraines and moods and cognitive, you know, all the stuff that was going on. I wanted a pill. I mean, I'll be honest. And I went to doctor after doctor after doctor, just thinking, I just need the right doctor who has that magic solution, you know, whatever it is. Something, in other words, I was giving them my power. I was not taking responsibility, and that's where taking back your power comes in, is taking responsibility, taking accountability for your life, and recognizing that you get to take care of your health. You get to take care of your future, and that's an amazing thing. You wouldn't want to put that in the hands of anyone else. You actually are responsible for your happiness and your experience of life. And by trying to make other people responsible, you're getting rid of something that's probably the most important thing we have as humans, is the freedom of choice, our freedom of free will, that we get to choose what we want for ourselves and then create that for ourselves and be, in a way, you know, the deity of our own lives. The creator, I talk about the creator, the architect of your own life. And this is an amazing privilege that we have. It's a privilege, it's a right, and it's a responsibility. So there is no shortcut. There is no magic pill when it comes to health and happiness. I know that that's, you know, might be like hearing there's no Santa Claus, you know, when you're a little kid and you're really, really hoping that there is, but there just isn't. And that's okay. That's okay. This is a journey. We get to work at it piece by piece, moment by moment, day by day, and become better and better versions of ourselves, or our best version, moving towards our best version of ourselves. Your best version is always there inside of you. You're not striving for something that's out there. It's right here, and it's just a matter of accessing that and making those consistent actions and behaviors towards that. And it really does work. It really does work. It seems daunting, and that's where having a comprehensive plan really makes a big difference. Having a dedicated mentor really makes absolutely all the difference. I don't know what I would do without my business mentors and my spiritual and life coaches myself. Coaches all have coaches because we recognize the value and importance of it. So going back to, there is no magic pill. It's your responsibility. It gets to be your responsibility. That's an amazing thing. And so not looking for the magic pill. You can still certainly look for the strategies and the ideas and the tweaks that can move you further along in your journey, but not looking for that one thing or that couple of things that's just going to change everything, knowing that that's you. You're the magic pill. So let me bring up the slides. So there is no magic pill. Yay! / you are the magic pill. Okay. So the number one most common mistake, and I see this over and over again, you know, bless your hearts, all of you amazing people, right? And that is doing the same thing and expecting different results, which is the definition of insanity. It keeps you in the circular stuck pattern, doing the same thing, expecting that somehow it will be different this time. So your solution is take a chance. You know, if you stay in that familiar territory, and I know because I stayed myself in that familiar territory for a long, long time when I was sick. I was not willing to make changes. I was not willing to take responsibility. I was not willing to make correlations between what I was doing and how it was affecting me. And so stepping out of the comfort zone, and again, that's exactly why I do the things I do in terms of public speaking. It scares me sometimes. It makes me, you know, it's outside my comfort zone. Actually, it's becoming more in my comfort zone, but for a long time, it's been outside my comfort zone. Rock climbing, paragliding, skydiving, jetpacking, trapezing, you know, the things that I do that push me. The things that I do with my body, with my soul, with my spirit, with my mental capability, and in all the different ways. So not continuing to stay in that rut, doing the same thing, actually looking for ways that you can make changes and being willing to step outside and do something different. And the number one game changer, of course, is, finding a dedicated mentor, someone who can help bring you to the next level, someone who has already achieved that, who's ahead of you in that particular area and can help you. That really does make a huge difference. I know I've talked about that a lot, but for me, that's what actually was the catalyst to not staying stuck, not continuing to get the same results. I met a nutritionist, a health coach who is a dear friend of mine now, and I started talking to her and started developing that relationship. I sought her out, and then I figured out that she was the right person for me, and I started working with her, and that's when things started to change. Up to that point, it was really just same scenario, different day, over and over again, like Groundhog Day. So really ask for help, be open to guidance. It's the most efficient way forward, and it will provide new perspectives, new ideas, the strategies, the support, the guidance, and the accountability to stick with it. And then, of course, that you don't feel alone, and that's a big part of it. We get into our own minds, and that can keep us stuck too, because the ego's job is to keep us doing the same things because it's safe. The ego's job is to protect us. And within safety is protection, or it perceives that that's the best way to protect us, is to keep us in that same place. Intuitively, or from a mental intuitive point, that's what it seems like the best way to do. It's saying, you can't afford that. You don't have the time. You will fail again anyway. Why bother? You're not worth it. You're trying to do something that you can't do. So these types of messages are coming from the ego. If you really check in with your heart is usually saying, I really want to do it. I really know that there's more for myself. I really see my potential. I know I'm capable. I just don't know what to do. I need help. I need guidance. So if you really check into your heart, your true wisdom and intuition, then you have a chance to step outside of the ego, which is, again, its whole job is to keep us safe. And that means in familiar territory, that means not taking risks. That means not expending the time, energy, investment, money, all of those things that could actually, and do actually make a difference as a game changer. Okay, back to the slides. So now this is a chance for us to check back in. I did this at the beginning, and let's do that once again. You may not have been here right at the beginning when we did it, and if you were, then that's perfect. You get another opportunity to check back in, and stay tuned because I'm going to recap all 7 mistakes at the end. And so you'll have an opportunity, if you missed any of them, to write them down. So if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, go ahead and do that now. Start to deepen your breath and just go inside. Pretend like you're actually entering into an amazingly beautiful space. And that is inside of yourself, inside of your heart, inside of your body. And you look around and you see flowers, a waterfall, perhaps the ocean, soft grass, and the birds are in the trees. And just feel what that feels like. Feel that reconnection. Feel how good that feels to be with yourself. And I want you to go back to your reason, your big reason, or all the small reasons why you joined my community, why you're here today, those frustrations, those feelings, what's not working, where you feel stuck, where you feel upset or even mad, and where you're ready for change. Check in with yourself now. And now go back to your vision. see yourself, imagine yourself, feel what would it be like if you felt free, strong, healthy, happy, connected. What would that be like? How would it change who you are, what you are, what you can have, what you can experience, the possibilities for yourself? And really tap into that vision, your big dream for yourself. Go there, allow it. And I want you to know this is completely possible for you, wherever you are with your health or your life. Imagine, what would it be like if you had twice the energy? What would you be able to accomplish with your life? What would it be like if you woke up each day excited and invigorated, thrilled to be you and living your life? What would it be like if you loved your body and felt confident in it and felt how strong and supportive it is? Imagine being able to create more, earn more money, have stronger relationships, really follow your dreams and passions. What would it be like if you could be more present in those relationships? And imagine feeling confident enough to ask for what you need in your relationships, in different situations. How was that for you? Go ahead and post it in the chat or make some notes for yourself to go back to later. How was that for you, connecting to your dream, your vision, and getting more clarity on what's important to you? So I have a next step for you, and then I'm going to recap the 7 steps, and then we're going to wrap up so we can get you back into your day. But once again, thank you so much for joining. I know a bunch of you have been present with me, and I really appreciate that. And again, give yourself a big pat on the back for doing that. So, okay. So I'm just going to share some testimonials from clients I've worked with so that you have an idea of what your next step could be, whether it's with me or another coach, and what this has meant to other people. You know, loving your body, being able for the first time to really feel connected to yourself and your passions, feeling confident, growing, learning, having better health, energy. And just for a couple of minutes, I do have a little testimonial. So let me bring that up now, and you can hear directly from one of my most amazing favorite clients. And I love all my clients. Okay. Changed for you in the last 6 months?
Okay, I have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, and I've had it for about 18 years. And I was in quite incredible shape when I got it, so fitness was certainly not an aspect of the reason I was ill. And then I tried over the years just about everything, with the exception of maybe seeing a homeopath. And then I started working with Marcy 6 months ago. And after the first month, I think, first of all, I had over the month extreme headaches and migraines. And then at the end of a month of working with her, I was about 50% better, which was just phenomenal. Nothing I had done up to that point was that sudden and that extreme. And then, of course, I know that it was what she did with me, because every once in a while I test it. And, you know, can I really go back to eating this? Can I really go to bed later? Can I do this or that? And then I'm worse. So it's really clear that her guidance had made me 50% better. So that was like 50% less muscle pain and joint pain and less muscle fatigue. I also stopped having IBS attacks. They just disappeared. I stopped having migraines and headaches. They were gone. And just before I began to see you, I was thinking I needed to get treatment for anxiety, that the anxiety I was experiencing was getting in the way of things and I needed treatment. And that is pretty well disappeared too. It's just gone. And then another thing that was just incredible, and this is one of the things that I found very hard to believe, but just the extent of how much happier I became in life, with myself, with living in London, with people around me. And I, you know, on a daily basis, I became so happy that I would sometimes feel like I would just explode. I was so happy.
Okay, so ultimately, this is what I want for you too. I want you to feel so connected and so strong and so healthy and so happy that the whole world opens up possibilities. And this dear, amazing lady has gone on to, you know, really expand her world. She's traveling. She's considering going back to her career, which she had to give up. And she's getting into creative endeavors, and she's getting out and about more instead of staying home, and she's exercising and creating more and more strength and endurance and stamina for her body. And she's created a completely new health situation and future for herself. Her future will not be the same as it was going to. She was on a path of going downhill and things getting worse and worse than they were. And now they're just getting better and better. And she still works with me less and less. She's being empowered more and more, but we worked together for about a year, and she's just done amazing things, and I want that for you too. My sincere intention is to make a difference in the lives of the people who are in my community. So I'm going to go back to the slides once again. Okay, a couple more testimonials. Again, weight loss, feeling better, believing in yourself. That's a big one. So many of my clients say, you know, you're the first one that ever believed in me, and that made all the difference, as well as the strategies and the information. I've helped parents with their children. With chronic healing, that's been a big one. And figuring out why things aren't working, why you're stuck, what are the ways to empower yourself. Lots of weight loss. Weight loss is pretty easy if you have the right support. So here's my special opportunity for you, and I'm going to post this link on the Google page too, so that you have it. And that is this. So normally sessions with me are $299, and today I want to empower you to be able to have that same session with me for just $49. So there we go. So I'm going to take the price way down for you, just for you today, and it's just for the first 12. So I don't have unlimited capacity to do this for everyone. I wish I could. I have about 20,000 people in my community that follow me by email, and another over 10,000 by social media. So this is really just for you guys and just for the first 12 people, so that you can have a chance to have that transformation, begin that transformation, take your next step, and know what to do. So the great thing is, and I'll go back to the slides, is not only is this an opportunity, but if we do end up working together, then that $49 will be applied towards a program if it's a 6-month program or longer, which will make this session free. So let's go over who this is for and who this is for not. So this opportunity is for you if you're confused, you're frustrated, something isn't working in your life and you recognize that it's not working, and you're ready and willing to consider doing something different. You're ready to get out of that, doing the same thing and getting the same results, and actually break through to your next level of life. And you're open to receiving ideas, strategies, encouragement, and support. And you're willing to follow through. And do what it takes, make the investment of time, energy, money, whatever it is. And this opportunity is not for you. And so let's save it for the other people if you fall into this category. If you're not open to receiving ideas or guidance, you're not wanting a change or ready for a change, you want the magic pill, you're fine with where you are and no change necessary, and you probably won't follow through or be open to following through or making changes, then let's save this opportunity for those that it is appropriate for. There is a money-back guarantee on all of my products, on all of my services. If you are not satisfied for any reason, just let me know, and I'll be happy to refund you the $49. And that is simply because I really want you to get value out of this, and I do not want to take your money if you're not feeling that you got the value for any reason. So this is what a session with me looks like. You'll share with me what you really want for your health and life and what's holding you back and stopping you from getting it. We'll brainstorm on ways to at least start that process. And I'll give you strategies and ideas that have worked for other clients, of course, taking into account your unique situation and ideas, and you'll walk away with an action plan. So I didn't update the link. This is actually not the right link. I posted the link in the group. So I'm going to stop sharing that. So the link is actually on the Google page. It's thehealthandhappinessguide.com/superstar, because these are sessions for you as a superstar, and I know all of you are because you're here. And that says a lot. That says that you're action takers. That says that you're ready to blossom, you're ready to bloom and flourish and take some risks and do what it takes to have that health and happiness that I know you want. So thehealthandhappinessguide.com/superstar. And I will send an email out to you later with that link as well if you missed that. But again, it's just the first 12 people. And I had about 400 people sign up for this webinar, and they will all be getting the chance to apply for those sessions. So what it is you will end up going to the application. It's a short application. I think there's 7 or 8 questions. A lot of people have told me that just simply the process of filling out that application and answering the questions helps bring more clarity and more focus around what's not working and what you really want. So that process itself actually starts the wheels turning, and that's why I like to use an application. And then if you are one of the first 12, then I'll send you a personal email that will have a link to my calendar and a link to the checkout page so that you can confirm your session and take care of that portion of it. And then, my dear, anything can happen. Possibilities, think possibilities. So once again, the healthandhappinessguide.com/superstar. And I'm just going to wrap up. If you have any questions, let me just check and see. Go ahead and post those now. I'll just wait for a moment and see if we have any questions or any comments. I'm happy to answer anything about the material that I just covered or anything in general. And then let me just tell you too that my email is marcy@thehealthandhappinessguide.com, or you can respond to any of the emails that you get from me. And I get those directly. I respond to those personally and directly, even though I get quite a few of them, because it's important to me that at least at this point I'm able to, and I like to have that connection with my community. And again, there's about 20,000 of you in my community, so it's a big community, and I do my best to make sure and respond individually to all of you. Okay, well, thank you so much to each and every one of you who took the time to attend today. That means a lot to me. And I'm going to wish you a happy, healthy day. And ask yourself, what can I do to make this an amazing day for myself? And go from that space of creating, because you are the creator of your life. Okay, bye for now. Sending you a big hug and lots of love, and I'll see you in your inbox soon.